This is the bad thing about the early days of the sawmill. I mean, that looks like metal. I didn't check anything. Run this magnet over it. I don't really feel any polarity, so I think we're good. Hopefully. So this is how I'm going to try to lay this out. I finally learned from my previous ones to offset this. That way I can actually center on this grain. Well, at least I hope I did. We'll find out. It's the moment of truth here. It's going to be a lot of cuts. I was worried that this might look weird with some of the tear out, but it actually just kind of fits the thing that it's kind of an old, dilapidated building. So I'm really not that concerned about it. I'll have to figure out how to clean out these little grooves and such. But this is going to get maple here for like the drip edges. And then I'll have to 45 it, and I think the bottom I'm going to do like a fountain maybe for a landing tray, but I'll cross that bridge soon. This really is the downside of when you build a sawmill and you have a shop, and at first all you do is cut slabs, and then you want dimensional lumber, and everything you have to do is cutting down to make dimensional lumber. For the last 6 months though, I've been cutting it dimensional, so at some point it's going to catch up with me. That thing looks sweet. I thought about it on the other side to cut that down level, knowing that it was going to bevel up. So I'm going to have to take that back a little bit. But that one marked out good. Okay, here we go. Mark these with this. So these now have an official spot. Now I need to glue this, tape it, then glue it. All right, I cut these off camera. At this point, you already know how I cut them. Fixture, saw. Okay. So now we're going to glue these all at once. Roll this, which should keep them in place, maybe, and then go from there. Okay, here we go. I'm not going to go crazy with the glue this time because these things are going to be hard to clean. Very, very hard to clean. And these aren't structural or anything, so it's not like they're going to have to hold somebody sitting on them or anything similar. It's actually not terrible. What? Okay. I see you. Oh, don't you dare. Don't do it. Did it last time too, didn't it? Think what I got to do is I got to start taking care of that early with a clamp. Pretty sure that's probably the solution I'm looking for here. And this one. You know, every time I do this, I think I've got it. And I can tell you right now, I do not have it. Shit, this is terrible. I think I'll just roll this back off here, because this is so bad. Good gosh, this is a freaking disaster. I couldn't really think of a way to sand down in here, so I had this thing that I use for drying. Put some sandpaper on them, and suddenly we have a gnarly sander thing with a deadly tip on it. So there's one thing I did notice on here, like this inside groove where I did the like fake damage here is hanging out. So I'm just going to kind of notch that out a little bit to make it seem legit. Now I'll probably take a file, hit it up a little bit. I really wanted to taper the inside of this. I should have done that prior to, because that's just probably not going to work if I stand it up and do it now. But that's okay. Now that we got these rounded off a little bit, or beveled off, I just kind of want to take the edge off of this a little bit. I don't want to do a full bevel on this. This is kind of supposed to be reminiscent of a fountain. So we're going to try this double-sided tape with a little bit under it to keep it from sticking as much. And then we're going to try to transfer it like this. So I'm going to hold it down. Wow, that actually worked. Okay. I don't mean to sound surprised, but yay. And I'll just drill the holes in here. What? Apparently I don't know how to tighten a bit. Okay. So we're pretty much set on this now. God, I need to get a drill press. Okay, problem solved. I went and cut some pieces here. And I'm just going to wrap them around. It shouldn't be super complicated in this case. I'm going to try not to make a super big mess. These are an accent part. They're not going to make or break this thing if something goes wrong here. The top ought to really be pretty easy, because all I have to do is kind of overrun this, and then I can mark the back, so I can really just cut the top and then go from there. So now it's kind of just laying the pieces up against there and making a mark. Now, see if we can spin this around. So really, all it's doing now, I need to run this down. So this thing is looking pretty good. I kind of need to take these corners down a little bit, knock them off. I do want it to be square, but it doesn't have to be hard angles on that. That way, if they get bounced around a little bit, let's go 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this right here, I need to nibble that out. There we go. You know what? I think the way to make it going forward is to have angles like this where they're not kind of jagged. That way I don't have to worry about these getting hung at some point in its lifespan and getting ripped off. Now we can just take these, maybe put one of each on here. Okay, so those two are in. This one is a little more tricky. Something like that hole was a little too deep, and it took the magnet with it. So let's put that in there. Okay. So now we'll just give them a little wrap, get them flush. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. There we go. We will let them dry up. I feel like on the bottom, if I was going to do the magnets going forward, I should just go ahead and drill the holes. I mean, that makes perfect sense. I'd like to thank y'all for sticking around. If you made it this far in the video, like and subscribe. There's some pretty cool projects coming up soon. You're not going to miss them. Make sure you swing back by. And I'll catch you on the next video. What the hell?